all night long. We going all night long. We going all night long. All night long. Yes, like I said, it's showtime. We got Redman. We got Kyle, the Caribbean Currency Cold Squad is here.
Just need a big bag, a big bag. I'ma get it so fast, I'm so fast. And when I get that money, I'ma make that.
Want you to give it up for your host for the night.
Currency, we make that money last.
Give it up for the Currency Podcast.
Big bag.
Yo,
I'ma get
I
it
said
fast, get it fast, get it fast.
got a little old.
I just need a big bag, big
Great boy.
bag.
Yo, first and foremost, I want to thank all you beautiful people for coming out and supporting Caribbean Currency. I look good, I smell good. Give yourself a round of applause. So no, I want to give yourself a round of. Come on, man.
You are smelling people?
No, but if you ain't smell good, you could smell people. So me smell nobody. So that means they smell good.
Okay.
You check.
Right.
But again, Caribbean Currency turns 1, right? Really and truly, we've been doing this. We've been talking and planning this thing from so long. It don't even feel like we only doing it a year. So when Sony were like, yo, we making one in September, I was like, Sony, that don't make no sense. We making one. We make one last year or the year before, you know?
Yeah.
But really and truly, our first episode got released last year around this time. And the podcast started with our first episode being myself, this man, sitting down talking.
My name is Redman.
If you didn't know. Sitting down talking to each other. We've been planning this thing since 2021. Pandemic time, we talking about this thing. And to see it come to fruition and to see the support we've been getting, like, it's surprising. Like, honestly, like, it's humbling. You know, so really and truly, again, I just want to thank you guys for coming out, vibing with us, watching the podcast, sharing the podcast, and just being a supporter of Caribbean Currency. Thanks again, guys.
And big up Sony and the ones and twos, Cody and the camera, DJ Unruly, the British.
Looking for a drink.
Oh, God, you're looking for a drink already.
Alcoholic, them told a man.
Really told a man, my son. I could tell you. But I know we want to cue the music and he getting drinks.
He getting drinks. But yo, we here reporting live from the gathering spot in Atlanta, man. This place is rich in history. If you're familiar with Atlanta, this is like the Mecca. You know what I mean? A lot of. I want to take this time out to really shout out the man that allow and arrange for this to happen. I reach out to me, partner, man. Say, yo, okay, did we do something at the gathering spot? Oh, like, okay. What you had in mind? You plan it. This is the date. Just pull up. All right, cool. What you need from me? Just pull up. Mind being a panelist? Sure, whatever you need. Just pull up. So I really, really want to give thanks and appreciation to my boy, PK Peterson, the owner of the gathering spot. I might I give here a larger round of applause and I give me, you know. But yes, keep it coming. Give large up my boy, PK. Hey, brother. Love. Sit on here.
No, sit on right here. You know, one thing I want to say about TK is before, well, Kyle, that kind of like inspired me to be like an entrepreneur. Kyle always trying something, you know what I'm saying? And I always behind of him like, okay, boom. So when you did the gathering spot, it was just kind of like, all right, next level, you know what I mean? And to have another Virgin Islander inspiring for me, and then in the same age group, you know what I mean? It's not like somebody who's 50, 60 years old, been doing it for a while, you know what I mean? So I was inspired, man. I tell you this all the time, you know what I mean? So I appreciate you for being who you is, accomplishing what you're accomplishing, and then sharing the space with the rest of us so we could continue to grow.
Hey, man, give thanks. I really believe that all we need is we, and it's a blessing to be in community.
with Ironman, with the wider Virgin Islands diaspora that in the Atlanta area and nationwide, and just being a part of the Black community at large and the global Pan African community in that sense, because I really believe that we are linked together and that our success or failure or advancement is all tied to the progress that we can each make with one another. I don't believe there is any value in an individual win or any true success in an individual context in that sense, because particularly us from the Virgin Islands, people of African descent, our lineage is that where we have only been able to make it thus far because we've been in community with one another and have looked out in certain ways to make sure that we could get here. Like, I grew up in government provided housing in St. Croix until my mother was able to get her credit score up to the point where we end up getting a nice house out in by Canagator Bar Park, for those who know St. Croix out Welcome Sides. And I was raised by my grandmother and my mother, and was instilled with a lot of Virgin Islands pride and the understanding that, like, Virgin Islands people ain't small people.
Mhm.
Like, it was never a belief that, or maybe it's not. No, you have to go do something.
Yeah.
You're supposed to go do something. And the wall is ours because VI people large.
Definitely, definitely. They're people large. I like that.
And you could tell by your accent he's a Crucian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
From over there.
I think he was the second person we interviewed, Todd.
Yeah.
Right.
The third. No, second.
Second.
Because the first one, me and you,
Yeah.
our third episode.
Our third
Second
episode.
person. And again, TK, I had a crazy idea. I started a podcast. Me and Redman. I could interview you? Sure. Send the Addy. Pull
Yeah,
up.
man. Ain't no
The
problem.
man been a supporter, man. And like,
We had like 5 followers, 12 subscribers. And
Facts.
and it didn't matter to him.
Facts, bro.
You know what I
That
mean?
was one of the only viral clips. I appreciate that.
Right.
Before it went viral. Yo, before we get into why you went viral. Yeah, I reached out. I said, Ticket, this is what we're doing. He pull up, he support. We had we have a tendency of not really giving people the flowers until they're gone. And what he doing here in Atlanta is so large for anybody to do, but much less for a man from where we from. So like, I was like, yo, dad, what you doing is dope. We gotta like talk about it. We gotta let people know about it. And even and then he was like, yeah, hey, we could talk about it. Somebody rather talk about the Blend Collective. That's an initiative that man start in
Yeah,
St.
man.
Croix, and that brings a lot more attention back to home, and that's what it is he wanted to focus on. So like again, brother, just shout out to you, dad. Welcoming us with open arms all the time, bro, and we super super appreciative for you.
I appreciate that, man, having me on your platform. It is a blessing to see how it's grown so much, and it's a blessing to be on the stage tonight.
Facts. So we kind of touched the base, the surface of why you went viral. So if I remember correctly, it was you were talking about the VA being being from the VA is such a privilege, it's such an amazing place, it's such, like this is all, I always say prosperity and success is our birthright. Like we entitled to this as Virgin Islanders, right? And then you say like, you don't cringe when you hear people say that this place is a third world country, right? Because like, how could the U.S. Virgin Islands be a third world country? You know the definition of third world country. You have a functioning government. We have all this different stuff. But Wapa really been like, if you follow it.
Hey, listen, I see that clip the other day and I was like,
this ain't age well.
TK, you might got wild.
But we don't have to revisit it. It's like it. This is not a subjective thing. Like
Yes.
a third world country, which in and of itself is no longer in a popular phrase to use. It's, you're supposed to say like lesser developed nation or something along those lines. Like there's objective like qualifiers you can use, like the GDP of a place, the GDP per capita, the average income, the net worth of the place. Like, you know what a third world country doesn't have? A public utility company
There you
that
go.
provides like even unstable
Yeah. Oh,
utility
yeah,
services.
yeah.
Like they don't have that at all.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we have bad roads. You know what a lesser developed nation has? No
No
roads.
Facts.
Like these, like I'm not like I could say that in Atlanta.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
like when we first opened here
Uh-huh.
in 2016,
Yeah.
we used to have brownouts and outages here
Yeah.
pretty regularly because this part of the infrastructure was
Yeah.
unstable.
Yeah.
Because if you know the Atlanta area, the west side
Mhm.
was not as developed. Now the west side is hot, so more money is poured into it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hella stable now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah.
like it's a third world country. I'm like, bro, that means you like you're just using the phrase incorrectly. Like
Yeah.
and it's fine if you want to say that. We're like I from home. I like to exaggerate and
Yeah.
say things too.
Yeah.
But like it's just objectively not an accurate description.
You know what I take from it too, because I'm third world country, I saying it so much. But after listening to TK speak and reasoning with him, word song is power. You know what I mean? So if you keep saying it, that is a third world country, then ultimately you're just going to fall into that space where you believe it and you start to live like that. You know what I mean? So he is the first bedroom to make me stop saying that and start looking at it in a way where we have to move in a direction to develop what we have, be grateful for what we have, and not complacent and not like we resting on our laurels,
Right.
but we know what a diamond in the rough is. And most lesser developed countries ain't even looking at themselves like a diamond in the rough. You know what I mean? So they don't even know if they're in the rough. So I'm grateful for that knowledge that you kicked to me, kicked to us, kicked to the
To the wall,
podcast, to the
to
wall.
the
You know what I mean?
friggin'
Caribbean
beehive.
currency,
Yeah.
followers and
we
supporters.
we literally have a social safety net that's in place that
Yeah.
like if you ever got WIC or SNAP
Yeah,
benefits,
facts,
like
facts.
you know what third world countries don't have, they don't have
Have
that.
that,
Like
yeah.
look, like we have problems, but when you identify and name things in the wrong manner, I feel like it distracts you from the things that we are supposed to be working towards
Facts.
fixing, and like it takes people off the hook for
Yeah.
things that are happening. Like, yo, unfortunately we had a ceiling fan fall out of the ceiling
Yeah.
on a child
Yeah.
at a school,
Yeah.
at a public school.
Yeah.
But like third world countries don't have public schools.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and we immediately were able to find out who installed it. We
Yeah.
had all these other things happen. Like there's an apparatus. If you read the government budget, like the Virgin Islands Department of Education has a budget that is 9 figures.
Yeah.
It's over $100 million that is spent. Is it spent as efficiently as possible? I
Right.
think
So
we would all say
misuse doesn't mean third world. We're just misusing the funds.
it's not efficiently allocated.
See, you
like
can
that.
always use these phrases and words
I got you
to not
going.
upset nobody.
It's not efficiently
It's not
allocated.
efficiently allocated.
I got right. I
They
want to
misuse, they stole.
You know, I can't make a normative claim like that. But what I can say is that the funding is not optimized for for optimal outcomes.
I don't optimize for.
not optimized
Yeah,
for
not-
optimal
I gotta put this in
outcome.
my notes,
What was the
guys.
first one?
I'm gonna bust this on the next podcast. Think, especially when we do a senator. I think it's a joke. Put this down there right now.
That's
I
a slogan.
swear.
We go optimally optimize.
Yeah, he
our
kill that one.
Oh man.
Hey, that just make me feel so slow.
You know,
I should have finished school.
But yo, I want to share another moment I had. I don't think you probably won't remember this, right? So I'm in real estate heavy, right? And how I end up in real estate is because I had a home and I wanted to make improvements on my home. And in making those improvements on my home, I went through a bunch of contractors, right? Going through them contractors, where a contractor would say, "Hey, I could do this for you for 25,000." I paid that man that 25,000. That man didn't do what he was supposed to do, right? So now I holding a bag where I in a hole now where I don't spend money to try to get work done, work ain't get done, and I got pay somebody to finish this work, right? Long story short, I always gonna start with my people. So the contractor was black. So after he run off with my money, Um, they had to get a conversation. I'm like, this is why I don't mess with my people, because I give them an opportunity to come through, and I was dealing with my people, and the man run off. That's why he only dealing with Mexicans going forward. You can say, oh, you gonna write off all your people? Like everybody? Because one man do you wrong? Do you hear how that song? Huh? Yeah. when you put it like that, you know what I mean? So like it just go to show the dedication this man have to us as a people, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And you don't even know how much that made me even more dedicated to not giving up on my people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the reality is that more of us do good for each other
Yeah.
than do bad for each other.
Facts.
We just tend to highlight
Negative
the
experiences.
negative. You know, we don't
Facts.
celebrate, or we don't, and not to say that you have to say, hey, this man do this for me, this man do this for me. But we tend, especially in the Virgin Islands, we tend to like talk about the negative things that happen and make it big. You know what I mean?
I would say a lot of that is a combination of narratives and sociological effects that we have, where it's like that is a confirmation bias easily, where it's like you grow up and you hear that like black people don't do good business, or man from home going do this and that to you, and then like all of us grow up and you can name your favorite VI businesses. And then as soon as somebody don't do something right, you're like, this is exactly why I don't mess with man from home. But you excluding like, oh, I love that bakery from back home. I love the ice cream shop. I love the smoothie place. That's my favorite restaurant. But like you all of that out to the side. Where it's like, this is exactly why I don't mess with we. Exactly. You see that? And it's like also you can say what these other people ain't going to do because you don't interact with them man as much. You just have way more data points. Like I've had more in-depth and longer conversations and relationships with people from the Virgin Islands than with people from Portugal.
Facts.
So I could tell you 10 people from home that I don't trust.
Yeah.
I could tell you 10 people from home that I trust in my life. But I could also tell you, I meet one man in school from Portugal, and he was cool, bad.
Yeah.
That man from Portugal run the road.
Yeah.
And like it's just a difference in experiences and data sets that you have. And is about what you want to, what's the takeaway you're going to have from that.
Yeah.
It's all in one thing. So like is the gift and the curse, and it's all about how you interpret it. So why interpret it negatively is my thought.
Facts. Guy, what you say is true. Like we would have 100 positive experiences with businesses from home, but the minute one business do us wrong, this is why I don't mess with people from the VI. And da. So it's like, what are we really doing?
And it's not even just one business doing us wrong. Even if that singular business, if that person was late or they didn't get a job done right, I mean, they gotta grow too, right? Like
Facts.
when we did the podcast, we didn't start off. We wasn't
Facts.
like this. We
Our
wasn't on
quality
this
wasn't at
level.
the- facts.
People didn't write us off and say they ain't watching our podcast no more because
Facts.
the quality ain't right.
Facts.
You know what I mean? They supported us and allowed us to grow. So even though, you know what I mean, she had bad business tendencies when she was doing your hair, that don't mean you can't hit her up and say, look, man, is a better
you
way
could
to do
improve.
things,
Exactly.
or you know what I mean, and still continue to support that person.
Facts.
We so quick, and it's not a lot of us for us to be dismissing each other so much.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like we don't have 250,000 people in the diaspora.
Facts.
And again, to me, the next thing is like when people are like, especially, I have a small business here in Atlanta, and if you have a small business, you can always guarantee somebody will be like, man, that's like small businesses, they need to do this, they need to do that, this ain't happening. And then I'd be like, yo, like, you ever order something from Amazon and it wasn't the right thing?
Facts.
You ever like went to Target and had a poor experience, and like, yeah, if you went any place enough times, something wasn't the right size, ain't fit good, ain't last how it was supposed to last. But then you don't be like, and this is exactly why my mother don't never go Target again. It's like, you're like, I'm gonna go back to Target because like it's a superstore. And like, because Target don't actually need you.
Exactly.
But as soon as I feel like sometimes when you feel like you get a leverage, like these man ain't get no heap of customers like that, like, and this why I ain't going to shop here and I going to shop over there. It's like,
Exactly.
okay.
We're gonna take our money and go give to the people that really don't care about us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's crazy because I was home, right? And a partner of ours just opened up a restaurant home. And I park up in front of the restaurant and I going upstairs and I see a lady that I know. She's like, hey, you're going up there? I say, yeah, man. I can check it out. She said, I went and they ain't ready. They ain't ready. I gonna check them. I don't even know if I'm gonna check them again, but they ain't ready. And I say, they just open. There's growing pains. How you expect them to get ready if you don't help them? Like, so you gonna just not go back? Like, come on, we just opened. There's going to be issues. There's going to be growing pains. Like I say, like if we give up on them, man, and we don't support them even through their growing pains, how can they sustain? And that's why a lot of businesses home end up going out of business. They need the support.
Kyle practice fixing credit on me.
Okay.
Facts.
I was a guinea pig.
And
I
give me
mean,
a lot
I
of
ain't
stress.
finished yet. A lot of other people finished before
I
me.
thought the same mean see the post on Facebook yet when you knew yacht.
Hey, when I posted, people gonna start asking for money. So me never posted it. That's number one. But needless to say, you know what I mean? You gotta allow your people to grow. Like when you think you ready when you get in the game, you're not ready.
Facts.
You know what I mean? We had the tools to start the podcast, but we wasn't ready.
Facts.
You know what I mean? We never did a podcast before. We never like on the top we sit down and talk to each other, but like the camera and like Sony never do this before.
Never.
This thing that you see Sony doing, we don't know nothing at all.
Facts.
She just Googling and YouTubing and
calling people.
calling me,
With me and
calling
me, like,
people.
Me calling. That man
Yeah,
watch
me
too much.
calling,
Me
but
calling
she
nobody.
calling,
So me calling. Hey, it's
Right,
me.
so-
I want to know how you gonna do this and how you gonna do that and how you gonna do. And
Right.
she gained the answers.
Right.
You know, and now she got this thing down to a science.
Exactly.
She's
You
a
gotta give people a chance.
Yeah,
you know.
Facts.
And the last note I say on that is that because sometimes people will hear that and they'll be like, well, I ain't like if I pay my like, yeah, if you paying your money, you deserve to have expectations and say what you want and say. But like my thing is don't have a disparate standard where like, you went to STK, it was a busy night, you wait an hour and a half for your food, or name some other restaurant that you like, TGI Fridays, Applebee's, wherever. And you'll be like, man, that was some wherever. You have to wait too long. But you don't go on, most times you don't go on Facebook and be
Yeah,
like,
you blast
this
it.
why these man ain't ready, man. It's Friday night. Friday nights always be busy.
Yeah.
You just be like, and sometimes it'll go so.
Yeah. We give that man way more reasonable doubt and way more benefit of the doubt. I mean, as far as like they could make mistakes, but we ain't get that type of patience and energy for our own.
No, man, like because we've been socialized and conditioned for certain things. I've been with people where like we've been in a store and like they feel like the person in the store ain't treating them right because they ain't think they get money. So they be like, you know what I do? I buy the most expensive thing. You're like, yes.
Yeah, like that's
You
that will show them.
You showed them. You've upstaged them.
Facts.
But like we laughing, but like we know that's a lot of people.
facts.
It's
Facts.
like as soon I buy this because I always wanted it and they didn't want to give it to me before.
Yeah. Like I see Jim Jones do that one time. He walk in a store, a Louis store, Gucci store, something like that, and they wasn't paying him no mind, and he pull out his card and buy down there half the store. I'm like, bro, imagine if you had take that money and go to your community and go to the small business and buy out half their store. You don't think that would have been appreciated much more than giving these people that don't care about you all this money?
And I give you my money, and I'm just not doing it. Like if I had this one lady one time, it was on it was going viral on social media. She went into Victoria's Secrets. The ladies had never been racist. She's turned on her phone, start recording, start crying, and I'm like, bro, they want your money.
Exactly.
Just leave.
Yeah.
Don't give them your money
Facts.
and go buy panty from someplace else. You can't want Victoria's Secret that bad that you go and sit there and cry on camera in front of these people who don't know you from no place. Just go someplace else and buy.
Yeah, buy
You know what I
some
mean?
Target
Because
panty.
that's the thing with us, right? We don't understand the power we have with like we
Buying
have the
power.
biggest economy, but we give it away to others.
Yeah,
And I ain't saying don't spend where you want to spend your money, but if you ain't being treated right by others outside of your community, then don't make a fuss about it. Start investing in others that's inside of your community
Facts, facts,
and
facts.
and struggle with them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'd rather struggle with a VI man than
Yeah.
struggle with somebody from Spain.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like let me help you get this right.
exactly.
You
Some
know what I
place
mean?
where you have relationship. Like when I was in school and we tech economics, I actually tech economics at UVI. I went to Joshua, but in the summer I used to take class at UVI still. So I went there and I remember our professor was like, yo, you know what it mean anytime you buy something? It's like, yeah, exchange of goods and services. It's like, yes, but like, well, every time you buy something, you are saying that you want more of this in the world. Because if you buy a pair of shoes, that means the person who make them know they should make a next pair of shoes because they should be able to sell a next one. So every time you like, man, this brand of pants you buy, you telling them man to start making more of that. So if anything you want to create, you have to you devote with your dollars in that way, where I feel like you should be mindful of the thing that you want. The same thing where it's like they get places home or places anywhere that I like where it's like I would really like if our man stay open an hour later.
Yeah.
So what that means is that like when they in their last hour of business, I'll call and be like, I want 2 hours or whatever, so that they start thinking like, okay, maybe we could have a little more. If we know any business owner will keep open if they could make profit.
Facts.
So I trying to show these man like, yo, I you stay open later. I will come. I bring my partner them because I want it's for my benefit. I want a place where me and my partner them could go when I finish work. But if you to close at 6 p.m., I can't do that.
Facts. Being a man from Croix, right?
Mhm.
We were just down there. We interviewed former Senator Daly. Episode ain't drop yet. But we went west, right?
Mhm.
We seen the conditions of west. To me, I feel like Western St. Croix is so it has so much potential. You know what I mean? Like it's right by the dock, and it's just like a ghost town, brother. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Tell me what's your thoughts when it comes to
Okay.
the St. Croix and like West in particular, as far as like what could
Well,
be done.
first of all, you always gotta say, big up to the west side of the island because that is where freedom in the Virgin Islands emanated from. So, Emancipation Garden is in the west side of the island where Moses Gottlieb, General Butler, along with the formerly enslaved, rose up and demanded that they were freed by Peter Van Scholten, and that happened in 1848. So you have to have reverence when you speak of the thing that freed all of us, freed all
Yes.
of our lineage.
Facts.
And if you objectively speaking, the west side of St. Croix, that port is one of the most beautiful ports in the entire world.
Facts.
If you just ride the coastline,
Yeah.
you see that sunset, you see the beautiful Danish architecture right
Yeah.
up on the waterfront,
Yeah.
and it has tremendous potential.
Facts.
And the opportunity there is that we have to make a decided plan of how we're going to improve it. We have people like our own legend Pressure and people on his team that have invested on the west side of the island.
Whoa.
Legends Lounge.
Facts.
It did it.
Right.
We got places like Subone. Like we have businesses right there. We could start making a little corridor right there. You get
Yes.
Yucca right over there.
Yes.
And they're fixing up the custom house that right there. We have to give credit to the government when they're doing positive things.
Yeah.
Right.
We have more cruise ships coming to St. Croix that
Facts.
I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah. Facts.
But the thing is, you to come off the cruise ship
What are you gonna do?
and you won't see too much most of the time. But you gotta start from somewhere.
Someplace. Yeah.
So we have some traction there, but we have to make that concerted effort of like the truth is both of the towns and St. Croix, Christiansted, and Frederickstead are economic empowerment zones.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's an incentive for people to invest in those areas, to have strategic things, and we have to keep doubling down on that. And like where I see it is the opportunities for EDA and other branches of the government to provide low cost financing for business owners and other people to do things
Yes.
in that side of the island.
Yeah.
Because the problem is we are statistically a wealthless people.
Yes. True.
The average, the median net worth for a black person is not significant.
Facts.
So you start a business, especially a brick and mortar business, is very costly. But they like if you read the EDA notes, we'll be giving out loans to people.
Right.
And then they'll say stuff like, oh, like you know your credit. Of course, you know your credit gotta be a proper way if I'm trying to get a $5 million loan or something like that.
Exactly.
And there's people like I know a man from home right now who just buy a building on the waterfront street of West on Strand Street.
Yeah.
And he's working on fixing it up and different things. But like something that I get from my business partner is like we have to manufacture wins, which is like we have to decide like this is going to be a win.
Yeah.
And you can do that. Like, you know, Boeing in the company that make all these airplane them that have been falling up the sky recently. Like that is a private business, but it's really not. Like, you know who to buy airplanes? Governments. So the United States government makes sure that X amount of billions of dollars are always going to Boeing because you know what America can't have? The inability to manufacture their own plane them. Because we'd be at a detriment for that. So we'd make sure that there's subsidies, that there's a certain amount of jobs is in these areas, because it has to happen. There's like the Virgin Islands economy is about $4 billion.
Yeah.
Which is part of the reason it can't be a lesser developed nation.
Right.
And like there's hundreds of millions of dollars that's always flowing through the place. Like we have to decide that like 10 million go on Strand Street alone.
Yeah.
There's things that are being done. Like they had like a jazz festival type of thing right on the waterfront and different things. But we have to be implementing strategies and deciding things where it's like we about to spend $250 million to rebuild Arthur A. Richards on the west side of the island, which is a middle school, no, a junior high. And that how many students are going to be educated in this $250 million space? And what could we do with a $250 million utilized in a different way?
Yeah.
And to my pedantic friends who see this, they'll know that, you know, you can't reprogram the dollars per se to be in that specific way, but we have to find creative ways to be leveraging the dollars that we do have.
So, and when it comes to West too, like Kai was telling you, we spent, I don't know, like a week
About
in St. Croix. That was probably the longest I've been in St. Croix. I really enjoyed it.
Week is the longest you ever been in St. Croix?
Yeah, bro. I'm from ghettos. St. Croix is a long way away, but I enjoyed it, right? Yeah.
That's the important
thing. I did enjoy it, but I noticed like in talk, I in the West, and I'm like, how come these people ain't coming down here to like enjoy the West? And they have a stigma to it, right? And in my mind, it's like you could either succumb to the stigma or you could internally gentrify the West, right?
Yes.
So, like bad people don't want to hang out where good people is. Mm-hmm. So the more good people start coming to the West and indulging in the West, those people are naturally going to just feel like they don't belong around here.
And you're seeing who come into the West now, right?
Right.
There are people who are not afraid of the stigma.
Right.
They're heavily on the West side of the island.
Right.
They're heavily all over the island.
Exactly. So they ain't afraid, but you who from here, you know, afraid to come. Exactly. You know what I mean? And I ain't telling you risk of life. I ain't saying don't be fearful. I'm saying that you could sit back and succumb to whatever your fears is. You could let them run the block if you want, or you could say, you know what, we're going to move in, we're going development, we're going party down here, we're going, you know, hang out. Those people naturally going to just slide their way off someplace else.
And to me, the gift and the curse of home is that everybody know everything and everybody.
Yeah.
So it's like we know who the individuals are who may cause a ruckus in an area.
Yeah.
Right.
We know where they hang out, and we can decide like these 2 blocks going to be safe because we're going to make sure we got Babylon there. Yeah. We're going to make sure that the senators them hanging out there and different things. Like to me, we have to leverage the things that we have, which a lot of it is the government, because that is the largest employer, the largest spender of dollars in our economy.
Right.
Like if the governor and several senators hung out on Strand Street in West and at Legends Lounge and Sibune and all Yukon, all these places, I sincerely doubt that we would have too many people worried about something happening.
Right.
Like no, nobody bigger than the government.
Yeah.
No, nobody anywhere. You know what happened? I really obsessed with watching little documentaries about mafia man and drug lords and different stuff. Like El Chapo, you run the route the whole wall. As soon as you number one on them search list,
Yeah.
it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Because you know what the government do? They seize your assets. You can't beat the government. They're just going to keep replicating.
Facts.
Right.
So like that's like we don't know. They don't ask a million times what they want to see, what people want to see in West and different things. They want to clean up the blight. There's like some of the man them who just cool ain't doing nothing. I personally believe if you said it was $30 an hour to be on the beautification team at the west side of the island, I believe you would get some man who would and ladies who would sign up for that job.
Facts.
I would sign up.
I would sign up too.
Well, speaking of the West and Legends Lounge, we have a legend in the building,
A legend in the building, a legend in the lounge.
right? That we want to bring to the stage.
Yes, sir.
One round of applause for our local and global legend, Pressure Boss Pipe.
Boss Pipe. What my DJ dealing with? Yeah, that's you, dog. That's you. Hey.
Right about now.
All right. Boss Pipe. What you say?
Big up.
Another guest at the Caribbean Currency Podcast, man. I really publicly want to thank my boy again for he's just two man with some cameras that we buy that we don't know nothing about with Sony who learning as she go. And I said, Pressure, listen, this is what we're doing. Can you pull up? And he was like, send the address. So, brother, I just want to thank you in front of all these beautiful people and just tell you we appreciate you, brother.
Respect.
He was really ready to tell a story.
What?
Wow. He tell
We
a
asked
story.
us 3 questions and a whole
I tell you,
podcast.
we ain't talk. Hey, that was our before we used to do, and apologize, TK, right? Because at the time when we did you, we were paying for somebody to record us, so we only had an hour.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, man,
That used to drive you crazy.
man, like that ain't enough. Like I feel rushed asking the question. So now like, okay, then we got buy our own camera, and we were like, we ain't get the money. So we ended up buying our own camera, and Pressure was really the first interview that went like long, like past an hour. You know what I mean? 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, we could cut it and come back later. I was like, no, let we just keep going.
Yeah.
You can't stop.
Our cameras are overheating.
That's why you have 2 parts to his. You know what I mean? So the him coming and feeling comfortable and pouring his story was like a blessing for us. You know what I mean? To kind of really showcase what we really want to be about, especially for people from where we from, TK and others, to come and tell their story, the way they tell their story. So I appreciate you for even giving us that boost and that stamp. You know what I mean?
Respect.
Facts.
We were talking about West.
Right.
Talking about Croix. He's a rock man. From where we from, the ghettos. 3
Right.
ghetto man and a Croix man on a stage.
A man from Kanagata.
So just tell the people a little bit what inspired you to like, cause you live in Atlanta and from St. Thomas, live in Atlanta, but you invested in St. Croix. So tell the people a little bit about what drove you to invest in Croix West specifically.
Just opportunity. Period. I mean, I see the VI as my home. You know what I mean? Of course, born and raised in St. Thomas, but St. Croix kind of raised me too.
Yeah.
You know, I've been traveling to St. Croix from the age of 20. You know, with Star Lion family and doing reggae music and so. St. Croix always had a love for Pressure too.
Yeah.
And that's where my son, my first youth band.
Oh, yeah, that's
You know what I
right,
mean?
yeah.
So I spent a lot of times in St. Croix. After high school, lived on St. Croix.
Yeah.
At least 3 times lived on the island.
Yeah.
Each time a year.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So being traveling to the West a lot. West has always been like my headquarters when
Yeah.
I in St. Croix.
Yeah.
You know, of course I have a large family from the West, which is the Peterson family.
Yeah.
I'm Isa Peterson from St. Thomas. So
Yeah.
getting to learn who my family is in St. Croix, that in
Yeah.
itself get me to feel more like at
Yeah.
home. Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, I have this big family from St. Croix that I don't know about.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Seago
Yes, sir.
Peterson, who was the one who would be like, yo, that's your cousin, that's your cousin,
Yeah.
that's your cousin, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
That's the VA ancestry.com.
yeah.
We use they get like 3 Peterson up there. I ever check to see if I related. This man
He's
is
a
a Peterson.
half-breed Peterson.
Yeah, half-breed.
He's a half-breed.
All the
He's a
Peterson them
half-breed.
related.
He ain't a full breed.
I really want to say the man is half-breed Romney, you know. I really want to say that, you know what I mean? But he's right.
I think I like the Peterson side of the family.
Well, yeah. So like, and then St. Croix big on reggae music. Then that's a culture island of the Virgin Islands.
Since I started doing reggae music from, the age of 17, 18 years old, St. Croix, I grew up in St. Croix.
Yeah.
So it always been like fresh waters for me,
Yeah.
and for the people that had like my music and stuff, like when I go to St. Croix, I was more of a celebrity than I was in St. Thomas. You know what I mean? So people in St. Croix used to really like, oh, that's pressure from like 19, 20 years old with my first album that I came out with. So the love in St. Croix was a little bit more concentrated.
So you end up breathing a acoustic.
Hey.
And up breathe
Boy.
a crusade. You know what I mean? But the culture in St. Croix, I find like it's very deep. It's very rooted in the communities.
Facts.
Especially on the west side of the island.
Yeah.
People are very prideful of the culture and how far St. Croix and Frederick Sellers came.
Yeah.
Through the rebellions, the revolution, through slavery, and to where we at now. I see like the West Side people being very prideful, and it's a family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when a man pridefully say, "I from West."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus he saying, "I from Williams Delight."
Like,
I from Man, I be like, "Oh, I from West."
Yeah.
A man from East, I be like, "Oh, I from Princess." I from Catherine Dress. I from.
You're right.
But a man from West, I be like, "Oh, I from West." From
Yeah.
your past, that Williams Delight stoplight
Yeah.
is like everybody
West.
does represent West,
Facts.
and I love that.
Yeah,
It'll show a strong rooted family and a love vibe for the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like any family, it has its issues.
Facts.
It has its problems, and
Facts.
it always works itself out. You know what I mean? But one thing for certain is that the people are very strong-minded.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't come in the West with no foolishness.
Facts. Facts.
Somebody gonna call you out.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some kind of
they gonna get checked.
repercussions gonna happen. In the
Yeah,
West is very,
Yeah.
it's like you go be good all the way good. If you're
Yeah.
bad, things gonna go all the way bad.
Facts.
And it's a place that I really adore. Coming from St. Thomas to we're a place where tourism is very high.
Yeah.
It's more like the hustle and bustle in
Yeah.
St. Thomas for me. Growing up in the ghettos, of course, it had its laid back vibes, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But traveling to St. Croix, I get to really understand the economics of the Virgin Islands and really get to see like, okay, the Crucian people, them is the field slaves.
Yeah.
And the Centomians, the Iraq people, them we were the house slaves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now just knowing that, you could see as to when there's issues in the community, people in St. Croix more pick up and march.
Yeah.
They more hear about it. People
Yeah.
they ain't
Ain't taking it.
it just like that. In St. Thomas, we be like, ain't reach my doorstep.
Yeah.
Them people do what they're doing.
Yeah.
I making money, all right, me
Alright.
ain't gotta deal with that. I ain't feel like going stand up in no hot sun.
Facts.
This is the mentality of the people who, I
Facts.
guess have a gold spoon. But
Yes.
this is not everybody,
Yeah.
but it's a mental thing that transcends from slavery days.
Yes. Yes.
we were living in the house with our slave masters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We were able to eat at the table with the slave masters. The man them from Croix had to work in the fields.
Yeah.
They had to pick cotton. So they were the one them cussing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, them man from rock.
Yeah.
You understand? So you must imagine how long this St. Croix and St. Thomas thing going on.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know,
Yeah.
the man them from St. Thomas, they get all the cruise ships.
Yeah.
They don't have all of this. Everybody that talk about St. Thomas, they invest in all this money in St. Thomas. And what happened to St. Croix? You understand? But what I get to understand traveling to St. Croix is that St. Croix has something way more valuable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a peace of mind.
Yes, sir.
And it's a culture that's preserved that I personally feel, this is my thing, I feel like a lot of the culture has been lost on the island of St. Thomas. To where the island of St. Croix has preserved so much of it that people you just can't walk over them so easily. You know, they always remembering where they came from as a people. You know, and that's important for me, especially in my studies for African history and VI history, and just knowing where we're coming from as a people to where we at now. You know, I have so much love for St. Croix, especially the west side. You know,
What would the mindset or the thinking? Because you know, to say I'm gonna open up a business in a place where the tourism is low, like to be an entrepreneur, to say, well, I'm gonna take the risk and start to plant the seed. You know, like where your mind was, you and a man, when I decided
I have to big up to my partner in crime, Dingo, along with Boo and Turtle. It's 4 of us that actually own Legends Lounge. Me and Dingo being the spearheaders of the lounge. But
and Boo.
When we decided to open up the lounge, we wasn't thinking about the tourism district. We know that would come. We were thinking about bringing the community back together, knowing that is a place like you started out saying, like St. Croix. I mean, Frederick said it's like a ghost town. It is, and that's one of the main things that make me interested in saying, wait, look at this building. This building have so much potential. You know what I mean? And this is where we the cool out, we the bun weed there, we the drink, you know, and we sitting down on the corner of a building that's abandoned and have the potential to do something. You know what I mean? And next thing you know, you see a Caucasian 2 buildings down and you just see them going in. Next thing you know, you see wood going, you see tiles going, and then next thing you know, doors open up. They have a new restaurant. They have a new business running, and we ain't paying attention to that. We too busy worrying about this man car and this man new chain and this new song on the radio and this fat batty girl, and this man is not paying attention to anything other than economics and trying to build a future for himself. So for me, I had to put my big boy shoes on, buckle up my belt, and realize that, you know, we are those OGs that we used to look up to back in the days. You know what I mean? If we don't take this step and take back our community, we're going to be left with nothing. You know, so it started from some place. My brethren who raised in the town, born and raised in the town, Dingo, you know, this is why I could call him my brethren, because he always had the same mindset. Like, listen, I from this town, I have to own a piece of my town, you know? And he brought the idea to me. He like, bro, I need you to see this building. I need you to see this building. And he called me from the building one day, and I like, yeah, we need that spot. And you know, we made the necessary phone calls. We put in work. It took us at least a year and a half to acquire the building because other government agencies were interested in the building. And I was like, they don't want it. You know, that building is for me. And I tell Dingo, I say, listen, what's for us gonna be for us, you know, and we stay at it. We were more consistent than anybody. We proved to the government that we wanted that building. We were the ones for that building. And you know, it came to fruition, and I'm just grateful that we have it. And it's something that the community can say is theirs. You know, we of course own the place, but it belongs to the community. You know, we keep community events, bingo, karaoke nights. We have regular game nights, dominoes, chess. You know, we also have like musical chairs. We have like we part of the bar crawl.
Yeah,
That
we
they
were
have with the
there.
tourist. So we have like musical chairs,
Yeah.
things going on, and of course we have the whole backyard.
Yes.
That's like a whole venue in itself.
Yeah.
You know, that we plan to do like link up with some people and do like wine tastings, and of course we open up for rental. People could rent the place to do events and stuff like that, but it's for the community. And I believe that, you know, it starts someplace, you know, and I'm just grateful that I could be a part of that. And this is the beginning, and then hopefully in the future, you know, we could take over some more building and run the place, you know?
100%.
For sure, I received that.
That one about right?
Yeah, man. So we were Legends Lounge, actually. So we were trying, we had about 3 interviews lined up. And no, you were going to be in St. Croix, right?
Yeah,
for
our
our event.
St. Croix for Tart was
Yeah.
Peter had big up Peter, because Peter helped us
Peter
find
Noel,
some cameraman to
Aquino the
assist
movie.
us.
That's the man responsible for
Yes,
it
sir.
right there in
Yes,
the black
sir.
hat,
Right.
being humble back there.
And that's another part of networking, you know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? I met Peter through an artist that I manage. We connected some more. I think we are connected before that, Peter, right? Small. You know what I mean? And then just being able to have these contacts of your own people to kind of assist you in your growth. You know what I
Definitely.
mean? With the 3 beautiful interviews in
Facts.
Legends
In
Lounge,
Legends Lounge.
and was assisted by Peter to give us some cameraman to do that. You know what I
Large
mean?
up Shad and large up my boy,
Tristan. Right.
Tristan,
You know
yes,
what I mean?
yes,
So,
yes.
yeah, we did 3 interviews in there via LA.
Yeah, we don't say Shad.
We said chat.
So how that happened was he was down there, he was gonna be there for a week. So I like, yo, can't be in cruise for a week and we don't work.
Right.
So I was like, I gonna pull up. So when he could come, so when he had a track meet or something with one of her
That's one thing with
superstar
Sony.
daughters.
One of them kids involved.
Nah, I can't come. I'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out.
So that's when we reach out to Peter and he lined us up with Shad and Tristan. And we were like, we need a place.
Right.
And Redman like, we going Legends.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing this thing.
Yeah. We're going Legends, and we point is we want to make sure that it's set up so by the bar, I get a big sign that say Legends on it. It have to be seen. Like, I know over here look good.
Yeah.
But we need to make sure that it's, you know what I mean? Because let me backtrack a little bit, right? When I first started working with artists, I noticed that it didn't have any outlets for me to promote the artists. So I started to delve in other avenues and create them myself because I felt like other people wasn't consistent. So that's how I end up in, like, you know, doing other stuff and making sure I popular on Facebook. So when it's time for me to push my agenda, I have a platform, right? So I wanted to rely on my own people to give me my own spaces and use my platform to big up my own people while they're helping me in the spaces like the Gathering Spot and Legends Lounge. And even we did an interview in Pressure Other Business in St. Thomas.
Oh shit.
Which is
the Pressure Spot.
The Pressure Spot. So
yeah, we do
twice,
like two of them.
twice. You see what I'm saying?
You need a venue up here too that we could crash, bro.
Another one we could crash. You know what I mean? So it's just those little things like that is what we'd be thinking about when we're trying to progress in our journey. Is how we could incorporate everybody else in what we're doing. You know? So we appreciate you for allowing us, you, Dingo, Boo, and Turtle, for allowing us to use that space. You know what I mean?
And we were down there, right? How it end up happening now? So he down there, so I said, we got work. So I load up all the camera, them, all the equipment. I come in. So when you could come, can't come. Peter, we need help. Check these 2 men. We were there, we record, we do like 3 episodes in a day or something like that. We do one episode one day.
Episode in one day, and then we do two episodes in one day.
In one day. And then we were shooting one. The reason we were shooting, we had to only shoot one on that day is because they had need us to wrap up because they had a bar crowd. They had a cruise ship come in. And they were like, listen, then white people coming in here and they ready to drink. I got to get this shit out of here.
Listen.
The thing in the back, right? And you like, listen, cut this shit off. No, these people coming. So we rap, right? And we, try to plug out everything and move it into the little storage room. And then people coming in, I was like, we're ready to drink and all of this stuff. Right. And I was so happy to see that, bro. I was so happy to see the life in the community. You know what I mean? Like,
we don't think like in order for people to have a good time, you have to have these tall buildings and you have to have these beautiful hotels and you have to have all this extra stuff. And all it had really and truly at that point in time was Legends Lounge, West, some chairs for musical chairs, and rum. And they couldn't wait to just partake in that vibe,
I
man.
see
It
a
was so
thing I
beautiful.
never see. He transformed
Yeah, my son.
into like an ambassador of St. Croix. Like I never see this type of person before. You know what I mean? So, but I was happy to see it because it showed that he taking the thing so serious.
Serious.
You know what I
100%.
mean? He ain't just like, okay, I got a spot, I come through, buy some drinks. You know, you were real entertaining. The guests them love him.
Yes.
They
Can't be
wanna
too
come
cool
back.
to win.
You can't be too cool to win.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
And that was another lesson for me. You know what I mean?
Facts.
To see him, 'cause when I see him on a personal level is one way. You know what I
100%.
mean? And when he put on a business hat, it's all business.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's another inspiration.
Definitely. That really, I was happy to see that, man. And that showed me that West has so much potential. Because what it is now ain't why I have to stay.
Right.
You check? And just to see a few men from the community say, listen, we're gonna take this back. That's it there. So that's the blueprint. So imagine if 5 more men do that. And then another 5 more men
Right.
do that. What that area could look like.
Yeah, we definitely encouraging and supporting the
Definitely.
rest of the community to
For sure.
invest back
Sure.
in the West.
No, this is,
I
this
like
is the
that.
time.
Yeah,
Invest in the West.
invest in the
This is
VI, period.
Yes.
You know what I
Facts.
mean?
Facts.
Because
Invest in your home, like, yeah.
Facts.
100%, because the VI only going to continue to rise from here. You know, a lot of times they say it's darkest before dawn. I don't even think this is our darkest moment. But if you look at what's happening right now, we have, depending on the last report, so anywhere between 10 and 15 billion dollars in federal infrastructure dollars that are going to be spent on the island. They're going to, I think last year, they had the whole thing about the water crisis where it's like
Right.
the water coming out the pipeline wasn't no good. You know, they already have the money set aside and started replacing all the water pipes on the island. They're replacing all the bridge, they're replacing all the road them. They have the billions set aside for new hospitals on all the islands. It's going to take time, of course,
Yeah.
but within our lifetimes, I think in about 10 years or so, you're going to be looking at a whole brand new Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
And like the economic opportunity is going to be clear and present because
Yeah.
it exists now.
Yes.
And with the number, just after cruise ship money alone,
Yeah.
you could successfully run a business on the west side of the island.
Facts.
Now imagine, because we're seeing attrition of the local population. I had a joke that Orlando is saying Croix not. Like there's people are leaving the islands and like ain't like the Virgin Islands going to be empty.
Yeah.
Other people going to
Come
come
in.
and they're going to start making their homes and doing things, and ain't a charity thing, but like there's billions of dollars that's going to be circulating through these islands.
Yeah.
And we have front row seats to that happening, and we have to figure out ways to make sure that we are part of those
Yes.
offshoots that come in.
Definitely.
And that is the things that we need to be having conversations with our politicians about, and not just on some basic like, you know, this road need to, it's like, not forget the road.
Yeah.
Like, how are we going to give ourselves the resource necessary? Like, the government going to spend billions of dollars every year. How are we making sure the billions of dollars are being circulated through our people's hands?
Yes.
And like these are not things, because then somebody be like, well, you know, we part of America, like you can't do these things, and it
yes.
have to happen. Like the reason Atlanta has a robust black middle class and upper middle class and wealth is because Mayor Jackson, many years ago, when they started the line of black mayoral elected officials here in Atlanta, which is over 30 years long, like they put a set aside that said that at least 15% of all the government contracts need to go to minorities and black people. Now the city of Atlanta boasts that is something more like 25% just of the city allocation. If we do the same thing, like that is what keeps the robust black wealth that you see in
yes.
Atlanta, that makes Atlanta the black capital of the world.
Yes. Yes.
Like
Yes.
we talk like the man, $15 billion about to get spent. If we don't create 1,000+ new VI millionaires, we're doing it wrong.
Wrong. Facts.
And like we we can all talk to the people who in power.
Yeah,
Right.
we have access
Like
to
it's
them.
like
You're right.
you
Yeah.
go and see that man. That is the
Yeah.
gift and cost of the island.
Yeah.
Like I have to see you at the grocery store because I get two.
Yeah, exactly.
And like we know these people, like you, everybody could tell you, like, oh, I grew up with such and such senator, and my mother used to do this. Like we have real conversations
Yeah.
about what needs to be happening, and that's
Yeah.
why I appreciate the platform here because
Yeah.
like you to be talking about the culture and the finances,
Yeah.
and those two things are incredibly interlinked.
Yes.
Right.
Facts. It's all good.
That,
And
go ahead.
and it you said something that really resonates because we had Governor Map, former Governor Map on the podcast not too long
President
ago.
of the Virgin Islands.
The first and only
First president.
president of the
Last
United
president.
States. Virgin Islands. that, that episode gonna drop Monday, guys. I
Yeah,
don't want to miss
Monday.
that one. Lots
Wicked,
and
wicked.
help. That one was good. But anyways, he talk about how we don't find the value within ourselves. We always looking to the outside for somebody to come in and save us and do for us. And if he present a scenario with some folks will come to him and say, hey, we try and build a hotel down Great Pan. Yeah, you should get behind the project. You know, okay. And behind the project? Yeah, we need $140 million from the government to do it. So if I give you $140 million, then I building a hotel, not you. Yeah, but it gonna produce 2,000 jobs. But I mean, I giving them the jobs, not you, right? So then it will have some locals that would be like, oh, you should do it because we're gonna get the jobs. And he'd be like, why are you don't do it?
Yeah.
Why we need these people to come from wherever they come from to create them jobs and create these businesses? Why are you don't do it? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it just goes back to if we start really looking at our home and investing in our home, guys, and being a part of the conversation and being a part, forcing these men to like take us serious and like, yo, these are the things that we need to happen, especially with all this money that I get coming in here. We could mimic what a man do in Atlanta to make sure that there's 1,000+ new VI millionaires being born from this abundance of money that flowing through the territory.
You see, what happened is like when people see the government give a Kyle money, they would quicker say they should have give me the money rather than saying, well, if they're giving Kyle money, that mean they could give me money too. Hey, Kyle, how did you get that money?
Facts.
Right? Because Kyle ain't withholding the information.
Exactly.
It ain't his money.
And who
Exactly.
Kyle going to spend the money with?
Wait, exactly.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, because we all, they call it path dependency, where you like the people you know are the people who are most going to come to mind. So as soon as you're like, okay, I need a man to build out the bathroom, you don't go and call a man in the States. You know,
Yeah.
50 million man in St. Thomas,
Yeah.
or know a man in St. Thomas, or know a man in St. Thomas that
Facts.
could do the thing. So that's how you don't make sure the dollar staying in the community. I read an article with these people from Maine who are come to St. John, and they're building these nice luxury villas. And there was like, we to keep it simple, we to fly all our construction man them down from Maine, we to put them up in this place, and we to build it out. Like, that's who they know. That's who've done work for them before.
Yeah.
They ain't trying to figure out this
Yeah.
man habits and that man
Yeah.
habits. They're like, okay, we're gonna go with what, try it and true.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing we would do. And that's
Yes.
that's the reason you want your like locals to be the ones who have the resource.
Facts.
Because we going quickly, like obviously you're going to be favored. If I get $1 billion, of course I hire my mother to do some stuff.
Facts.
That is going to happen. I'm not
Facts.
going to pretend like my
Facts.
but like
Mommy start this LLC.
Right.
but like the rest of the money also going to make sure they circulate.
Facts.
And when we home and we get money, we spending the money home too, and
Facts.
we making sure it's circulate. But when people from off island come, is natural. You go and want to spend it with the people and the places and things that you are more familiar with, which is not the little
An
island that
island,
you just
right.
came to.
Facts.
Right.
Facts. So
Before you go forward, I want to big up an icon in the building, Robbie Smiles.
boom.
Robbie,
Exactly.
big up yourself.
up
Pay
Robbie.
attention,
One of our
everybody.
guests
Chat
on our
it.
podcast. So yeah, hold up the face. Another person that was on our
Where's she
Where is she hiding?
right, don't hide.
Don't hide. You.
She was they love my friend from
Oh God! Please don't do like
From-
they had a flawed session and all
There's not-
that interview.
No. We had a floor session.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a floor session now.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Right.
I
No,
go
well,
far back
I want to big up Nila for even coming on the podcast and telling our story. It wasn't
For
something
sure.
easy to do.
for sure.
You know what I mean? So I really appreciate her for
For sure.
even
Big up.
helping
For
us
sure,
push
for
the
sure,
thing
for
forward.
sure,
So
for
I just
sure.
wanted to give a shout out to those folks.
Those two interviews are really important. Yeah, let's clap it up for them. Those two interviews are really important for us as well because aside from the pressures, the governor maps, the T-Ran, the TKs, folks that we come up with that have like a really important story is our job to really highlight it too so that they could tell it as well. And those two stories like were so impactful, so important for the kids coming up to here that we really had to get them on the mic and they really just I still grateful to this day to the both of them for just having no filter and just telling their story in its fullest truth. You know, Nella cry on the set. I think she was our first crier.
Boy. She always been a crier. though.
She has been a cry.
I like you.
But again, I appreciate Nilla, Rabi, and all the other Caribbean currency guests. And let's clap it up for them one more time, man. I appreciate you guys. But Caribbean currency turns one. Like I said before, we feel like we way older than one because we've been doing it so long. We've been trying, we've been failing, we've been figuring it out. But we here and we're gonna just keep doing what we're doing, putting one foot in front of the next to do it for another year and another year and another year and another year until
For those of us loyal fans of the podcast and supporters of the Kyle and Redman show, what can we look forward to in this next year of the Caribbean Currency podcast?
we got some big brewing. And I don't want goat mounted. And he'll be dropping hits, and every time he drop a hit, I'll be cringing like, wait, son, shut up.
Hey, listen, I always wanted to do a podcast, and many people reach out to me to do like different shows just because my buzz I have on social media and stuff like that. And from time I small, me and Kyle together since we small. Our mothers is cousins and we're best friends growing up. So wherever they going, even Juve morning,
Yeah.
they fetting.
We
and
sleepy.
we sleepwalking. Yes. You know what I mean? So we always been together. And many people reached out to me before and I kind of like I wanted to do it, but every time Kyle come with a plan, blindly I'd be like, oh yeah.
We do that.
We're gonna do it. Win, lose, or draw, fail, because I know that he going to do it the right way. You know what I mean? Like I just know he always been a person, like he go cross all the T's, dot all the I's. You know what I mean? So I always wanted to do it. So when he came and he said, hey, look, man, I think we should do a podcast. We were like, okay, let we do it. And our plans were so grandiose, right? And but we took our time. We didn't rush it. We didn't rush the process. We didn't, you know what I mean? Like I remember when Kyle was like, yo, we should get pressure right now. And
Right
I was
now.
like, and I was like,
First episode, car pressure.
he ain't ready, man. Like,
I said no.
he too, like I get too much respect for art. Like pressure been doing it since I was in high school. Like, you know what I mean? He's 40 now. He been doing this since I was in high school. So he put in way more work in the entertainment business than we could. So I wanted to make sure that we got to a level where it was respectable for them to come on the platform and not just do it just because we have access to him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
And I respect that so much, man. Cause like I didn't understand it at first when I was like, pressure is our boy. Why would we not start with pressure? Like he right there, seem there. Ray was like, nah, the man. We got on that. The check, that gonna make us work harder. That gonna make us respect what it is we doing more. We got to own that. He has to be able to be like, I see what I get going on. Yeah, I'm ready to sit down and tell my story. And that was the same approach we had with Tiran. Shit, that was the same approach we had with everybody. To be honest with you, because we didn't start. When we started, we were paying for each episode. You know, it wasn't no camera phones and them type of thing.
Right.
And I mean, so, but by the time we really figure out the kinks and we were ready, that's when we were like, yo, pressure, we ready.
So to answer your question, there's some big ones.
Big ones, bro.
Big we will have to travel to go to these big ones.
Okay.
Right? That's all I'm going to say.
How we go say.
Shut up. Okay. You know what I mean? But there's some big ones and what we so my currency's relationships, right?
Mhm.
And you know, Kyle is about finances and stuff like that. And like you said earlier, the blend between culture and economics is what we're trying to achieve. So I'd lean towards the people like Rabbi and Nila because I come up in the ghettos and my family members are rooted in the street. You know what I mean? And redemption is always a story that I want to tell. You know what I'm saying? And it's important because there's a lot of people in the society that are going through their struggle and I want to be able to show that your story don't end here at a sentencing. It don't end here at a mistake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in the same breath, allow Kyle to interject the economical side of it and put it together. So as we did ourselves, it got bigger. Then we did TK, then another person was like, yeah, they comfortable. Then we did pressure, then we did so on and so Rabbi. It just keep developing. And the more we develop, the more people start to see what we were about. You know what I mean? It's not about news.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It ain't about us.
Yeah.
It's really, I want you to tell this. Like, I used to talk to Rabbi in jail probably like once a month. So I know all his stories before. You know what I mean? And I used to be like, yeah, like you gotta tell everybody else know. You know what I mean? Because then they go get to see like what I really, 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 really like firsthand to get like the first natural life sentence in the Virgin Islands, you know, the first natural life sentence, and then to get pardoned from it. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to, and then I have a lot of youth around me. So I want them youth to see the consequences as well. You know what I mean? And it's not an easy road. You know what I'm saying? So we have a lot of big, I can't tell you.
Okay.
But yeah, we have a lot of big ones on the horizon for sure.
And we also, Peter always remind me that we're doing this for the people. Check.
Right.
So any like amongst the big ones we get lined up, we still have some interpersonal ones with regular people like me and you that are doing amazing stuff that not too much people know about. Like he that we're gonna sit down and really talk about. So like he said it, culture and finance. And I like, yo, we gotta get TK and the podcast. He's like, who is that? Me, who is that? The dude that only gotta respect. And I start. And he was like, okay, well, are you gonna dominate the conversation? I was like, no, bro. Once we start to talk, there's going to be a space because it's all intertwined. The culture, like we don't figure out how to afford to live in our homes. We can't live in our homes.
We won't have a culture.
Exactly. Check.
Right.
So and if we can't afford to live there, we're gonna leave. And then when we leave, is a vacuum hole for everybody else to move in and just set up shop. And now instead of we gain saltfish pate and kank pate and wherever, we gain hot dogs and hamburgers every place. You know? So that's where the economics is important.
And last but
for the
not
culture.
least, like we only as like propaganda is a thing for me, right? My mother's a history teacher, so I know how propaganda work when it comes to like wars and countries being built, right? If we don't create our like, it's like, yeah, I want to see pressure on the Breakfast Club. But can it like that'd be cool, you know what I mean? Kind of breakfast, and we'd be like, yeah, we got VA man on the Breakfast Club. But it's like, nah, let we build our own Breakfast Club so we could tell our own stories. So we could give our own people a platform so we could make them as large as life as we see them.
Because even
You know
if
what I mean?
pressure get in the Breakfast Club, they don't revere pressure like we revere him. So they might
Right.
mishandle pressure on a big platform like the
Right.
Breakfast
You know what I
Club.
mean? Like TK do the gathering spot. Like let
Oh, and
us.
that man been on the Breakfast Club. You know.
He
He been on the Breakfast Club. You know. He
like,
said, no, ain't humble. That man been on the
he
Breakfast
try to be
Club this
humble with it,
evening.
you check. But let we tell a lot of people in the Virgin Islands don't know TK, but they need to know TK
Yeah.
and his accomplishments and everything that he's done.
Facts.
A lot of people know pressure, but they don't know that detailed journey.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I have artists around me, right? And then I'd be like, hey, look, man, you like pressure, like really sacrificing all that. Like give it all up for this.
Yeah.
So I needed them to tell a story so they could see
Yeah.
that it take a lot of work to become what he is.
Yeah.
Like it just said it wasn't luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just a lot of hard work, preparation. You know what I mean? Met opportunity. That's what success is.
Yeah.
So he was prepared.
Yeah.
So when that opportunity come, it was seamless for him.
Right.
At least it seemed like that to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he telling you about the ups and the downs.
Downs,
He gets
yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people didn't know
A lot
that.
of people didn't know these things.
Yeah.
Half of the wall, they didn't even know you were from the Virgin. We just read the comments and just watch all
Pressure now from Jamaica.
Right now, man, not from yard. That's a yard man.
A
You know
yard
what I
man
mean?
that.
And respect to the Jamaicans, you know what I mean? Because them embracing him helped propel him for us to even say he's ours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we share pressure with the Jamaicans. You know what I mean? Because Jamaica is like for us, like dancehall and reggae were real prominent for us growing up.
100%.
And it influenced us so much that we could have a pressure.
Facts.
You understand what I'm saying? So we wanted a platform not just to elevate the people who are already elevated, but even the people them you don't even know about.
And you know what too? Another aspect, you would see pressure, you would hear him sing. You know, you'll hear him give an interview after he sing. But nobody, it's hard for you to see these people as humans. They're not being humanized. They're just being idolized. So when you give somebody an opportunity to sit down and just tell their story, and you could hear the human in this person, that this person is human just like me and you, I'm going to allow for you to give that person a little bit more grace. I'm going to allow for you to give that person a lot more respect in their struggles and what it is they're growing through. And that's another part of the podcast that's really important to both of us, to like humanize our guests.
We try and get June on the podcast, but he's shy.
You don't want to humanize yourself.
You don't want to humanize yourself. You want to
stay with a screw
stay in the
face.
shadows. You know what I mean?
Stay with a screw
You
face.
don't even want to take the flowers we want to give him for all he accomplished.
You got to show them money.
No, we're going to do it. Yeah, we're going to trick him. And we're going to do it. You know what I mean? So,
but
Nonetheless,
nonetheless,
on top the look jam stage.
for sure, right? I know, right? But nonetheless, man, we get a hard stop at 9 p.m. So that's about 5 more minutes. I'm going to give my DJ an opportunity to cue up our music. You queued up. We don't play it yet. Just make sure you queue up. Okay?
listen, my mother and my father from Tatola. So we were like, you know what? Let me give the BVI
Let me get him a chance.
You get your Belangas card?
Against our better judgment. And he's our Benjamin for real. Like, not forget the DJ part. It's our partner. You know what I mean?
A large up DJ and Ruly and the ones that too. Always available whenever we call. His last minute, he pull it up. And he get everything we need, man. Large up DJ and Ruly. But again, man, I really want to thank everybody for coming out. If you're tuning in on the live, thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. Thank you to my guy TK for allowing us the space to come in here and really just talk, VI talk. Shout out Pressure. Busy man. He pull up here, give us his time. And again, shout out everybody in the audience for just giving us your time, giving us your ears and your attention, man.
And supporting us.
And support. We love you. And we appreciate our big time. And tune in, share, subscribe. Caribbean Currency on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And on that note, guys, have a beautiful night. Drive home safe. We love you. Peace.
Bless.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I am my DJ. My DJ get it right. That's what I'm talking about.
For the song.
Hey, large up Todd. Our team music.
I just need a big bag.
Yeah, hey, listen. This is my tribute to the Virgin Islands. Call this home. Yeah. So in Mount Land of Beauty, we call it paradise. We want to come down and check we down in the Virgin Isles. We are a share of problems. We know you have yours too. We're doing our best to solve them. We want to welcome you. Come feel our gentle breezes, marvel at a sandy shore. Our crystals sparkling waters, and you can ask for more. St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John, next door to the PDI. Build up with fascination, your interest feel satisfied. Some people they try to top us, but man they just cannot. I suggest you come and join us because the VI hot.
That's right, that's right. Want to thank everybody for coming out tonight.
Shout it out, put up your hand them high.
Caribbean Currency turns 1.
The flags up in the sky. Show them we run this party. Show them we rule this.
Make sure you get home safe. If you gotta grab a next drink, grab a next drink. The after party at 592.
Yeah. Water Island, you're amazing. Yeah, yeah.